Jamie's parents set up a special needs trust and wills so that she would be set up in the future. But when Jamie's parents died, unfortunately, so did Jamie's life as she knew it. And it took Jamie 3 years to restart her life again after her parents passed away. And I don't want this to happen to your loved one, and I don't want those residual impacts to happen to your family and other family members. So along with a special needs trust, or in Canada, a Henson Trust, there's 3 very important things that you need to do to help set your loved one with a developmental disability or autism up to live a good life, or what I call an awesome ordinary life, even after you're gone. And I'm gonna walk you through these 3 keys. So make sure you watch the entire video to get these insights. Even though Jamie's parents thought they had done the right thing, and they did within setting up that special needs trust and their wills, to make sure Jamie had what she needed to live her life, there was some things missing. You might be asking, well, Eric, what is a special needs trust, or what is a Henson Trust? So let me just pause here before I get into those 3 keys and explain, just to make sure we're all on the same page. So a special needs trust is a legal agreement typically set up by a parent that really ensures assets, which is often money, could be property, life insurance policies, are held in an account and used to support your loved one. Okay. This would mean that there's someone else administering the money in the trust on behalf of your loved one, which protects your loved one's social benefits, government benefits, so that your loved one can continue to receive those, right? And still have access to the funds that you've left in your estate. So let's bring it back to Jamie. So her parents set this up, but they forgot to set up these 3 keys, or they didn't get to setting up these 3 keys, which is why Jamie's life got put on hold for 3 years. So let's dive into the 3 keys. The first key really revolves around Jamie's life still being dependent on her parents, right? So when her parents were no longer around, her life fell apart because she was dependent on them. So what Jamie's parents could have done is work on reducing the dependencies that Jamie had on them. So what does that mean? That means increasing Jamie's independence and capability in a variety of ways, right? And this is going to take some time, some intention, but this is why you need to start now, right, on working on this, but preparing your loved one for more independence. And part of that can be interdependence with other people. I'll mention that a little bit later in this video, but it's super important that preparing your loved one for independence is worked on and done. That is the first key, right? Preparing your loved one for more independence. The second key is really being clear on how that money in the trust is to be spent. So in this case, it was Jamie's brother, who's the trustee, the discretion on how to spend the money. But if they're not involved in Jamie's life and what Jamie's best life or awesome ordinary life looks like, how do they know how to spend that money to best support Jamie, right? So super important, right? That person, that trustee, is included in Jamie's life and understands what are the things that are required to make sure that Jamie lives her best life, right? So that is the second key. And around that, how to do that, it's thinking about creating a structured plan, what I call a life plan, to map out the important areas of Jamie's life and the direction, and having a vision for what that looks like. And that can include, supports and things that money should be spent on to help Jamie live her best life, live into that vision, right? And making sure that trustee knows about that, and involved in that, maybe involved in building it, right? The third key is that the only person that Jamie had to now rely on was her brother, right? And her brother wasn't that involved in her life until after her parents passed, and very, very involved. And it took a lot of stress on, that one person. And it really took 3 years for Jamie and her brother to figure out, how to help Jamie live her best life. So what could we do differently? Well, we could surround our loved one with unpaid, loving relationships. So, it's really hard to ask just one person to replace you or to replace parents, right? Like there's so many hats that you wear that it's really difficult for one person just to take that on. So if our loved one has, 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 go-to people that can help them make decisions that they can call and be in a freely given loving relationship with, right? That's setting your loved one up for success. That's also going to keep your loved one safe, right? So those are the 3 keys to really to focus on helping your loved one to build their own awesome ordinary life now. And how do you do that, right? Well, I mentioned it. You need to have a life plan for your loved one, right? Which includes what their awesome ordinary life looks like, which would also include how funds should be spent and include on, a vision and a plan to start building that network of people around your loved one so they can be there to support them, not just being reliant on one person or potentially even a stranger, right? Even worse. So I know the feeling that, hearing all of these things, it's like, it can be overwhelming. It's like, I don't know how I'm going to do all that, or that feels like a lot. Here's what I want you to know. I've seen many families do it. I support families that do it. I know you can do it, especially if you break it down into small steps and if you start now. So I've created a guide to help you get started. It's called the Life Planning 101 Guide, and you can get it completely for free. All you got to do is click the link below. So scroll down, click that link, get your free copy, enter your email address, get your free copy. And that's going to help you get started building that life plan now. So go ahead and do that. And also, if this video is helpful for you, I encourage you to, again, scroll down, hit the subscribe button to get more videos just like this on a weekly basis, and you'll be the first one to see them. So I'm Eric Gall. Together, let's take a small step forward.